Good morning, students. Welcome to the second session of chemistry. In this session, let us discuss regarding the topic types of chemical reactions. Types of chemical reactions. So, we are saying what is called a chemical reaction means a process in which one or more substance gets converted into a new material, new substance is called as a chemical reaction. So, these chemical reactions which are taking place are being broadly classified into totally 5 categories. They are divided into totally 5 types, we say. So, these 5 types includes, the first one is called as the combination reaction. The first type of chemical reaction is called as the combination reaction. The second one is called as the decomposition reaction. The second one is called as a decomposition reaction. The third one is called as the displacement reaction. The third one is called as a displacement reaction. The fourth one is called as a double displacement reaction. The fourth one comes under the double displacement reaction. And coming to the last type of reaction is a redox reaction. Redox reaction. So, many chemical reactions we come across in our daily life. So, depending upon what is happening with these chemical reactions comes under these categories. So, let us discuss one by one each of the category. I will giving a simple example. So, the first one is called as we are saying combination reaction. The combination reaction is also also called as addition reactions. Is also called, we can call as a addition reaction. So what is this combination reaction? Means a reaction in which two different reactants combine and form one product. Two different reactants combine, participate reaction, combine and form one product. So let's give the example. Let us have here A and B. Let's assume A and B are two different reactants. If these two are combining and giving rise to a single product called AB. So you can see here there are reactants are two. Two reactants are there. But after the participation you are getting the product you are getting one product. So like this, if two are more than two reactants, they participate in reaction and gives only one single product. Such reactions is called as a combination reactions. Okay, so repeating the definition once again, reactions in which two or more than two reactants combine and form a single product is called as a combination reaction. So let's give the example for this category. When you go for the good example, the best example which is given in our syllabus, in our textbook, here is a magnesium. Take the magnesium ribbon. Magnesium ribbon, okay, it will be like a silverish color. Take that magnesium ribbon and when you start heating the magnesium ribbon in the air, when you start reacting magnesium ribbon in the air. So when the air mostly react with the oxygen, and after heating, when you are heating this one, it converts to use as to the product magnesium oxide. So this magnesium ribbon is in the state of the solid state. This is a silver type of solid, and we can know oxygen is a gas. And when you are heating this ribbon in a direct wave flame, both of them, when both of them burn, it starts giving a dazzling white fume. It gives a dazzling white fume, and after burning is completed, you will get a white color solid. The white color solid which is obtained is the magnesium oxide. You can see here reactants are 2 and product is 1. Okay, that's why this reaction is called as a combination reaction. I'll give one more example to this one. Then we'll give another example. The one more example we can give here is just the calcium can able to combine with the oxygen. Calcium metal can combine with oxygen and it gives rise to calcium oxide. It can give rise to calcium oxide. You can see here this calcium when it reacts with one, it gives rise to calcium oxide. So reactants are 2, product is 1. So that's why it comes under combination reaction. One, or we can take carbon. The burning of carbon. You take carbon nothing but coke. You can take the coke a black color substance. When you start heating the coke in the air, okay, when by the time it starts catching the fire, we will be able to see the coke color changes into the reddish orange. It burns with the reddish orange, and at that time it releases the CO2 gas. Along with this one, it releases the heat also. Okay, releases the heat. So the burning of the coke, okay, in the case here, it gives us to carbon dioxide. Reactants are 2, product is 1. So this is one example we can take. And apart from that one, I'll give one more example to you. Calcium oxide, CaO. Calcium oxide, CaO, which is normally called calcium oxide. When you are dissolving in the water, it gives us to CaOH taken twice. Okay, CaOH taken twice. Calcium oxide when it is added to water, it is a solid, and when you add to water, it converts into calcium hydroxide. We can say. So both of them, in the case of here, it will be in the state of 2 state. So like this, reactions occurring, all 2 or more reactants are combining and you're doing single product. It's called as a combination reaction. In this one, the examination point of question, the CPSC exam pointer, these are being asked. So what is this one is magnesium when it is burning in the oxygen. When it is in the burning oxygen, we take magnesium. But when you are burning the magnesium, before we start burning the magnesium ribbon, it will be in the form of a ribbon form. And before start heating, we have to take the magnesium ribbon and we have to rub with a sandpaper. Why? Because when you keep a magnesium ribbon in the lab, slowly the magnesium starts reacting with the atmospheric oxygen slowly, and on the surface of the magnesium, suppose let's assume this is like a magnesium. If you take this called as a magnesium, assume when you keep in the lab undisturbed, slowly the atmospheric oxygen may react with the magnesium, and slowly it can form magnesium oxide. That magnesium oxide forms a layer like this. It forms a layer like this. That's what happens. The magnesium ribbon becomes darling color also. That's why before, if you take directly this ribbon and you start heating, we don't get the dazzling white flame. Means it don't burn properly, and we don't expect to come the products. So that's why what happens. If you want to have the reaction properly, take this magnesium ribbon. You try to rub with the sandpaper, which is available. When you rub with the sandpaper, automatically this layer will be gone. When you apply with the sandpaper, when you rub with this sandpaper, this layer, what is the layer you are getting, is being gone, and you will get able to see, we will get the magnesium ribbon, a clean magnesium ribbon with a little bit shininess we will get. Now when you take this magnesium ribbon and you will heat it in the flame, lit a candle and heat it in the flame, automatically you can able to get the product with a dazzling white. You will able to get which type of flame? Dazzling white flame. We will get the dazzling white flames you will get. And it is a exothermic reaction. And next one, here we have one more question is the calcium oxide. When the calcium oxide is added to water, it gives us to calcium hydroxide. In this one is called as calcium oxide. This material we use for our whitewash actually. We use for our whitewash. So when you take the whitewash, normally for white, many of them nowadays we are using the paints. But in the olden days, for our whitewashing, we used to use a white color powder. The white color powder here we use the calcium oxide. So they ask a question in CBSE. They ask a question: a compound X, when it is being added to the water, it converts into, when it is added to the water, it converts into compound Y. Normally, it's converts into a compound Y, which is in the state of the which is not completely soluble in water. Which is not completely soluble in water. So what is X? What is Y? So this X normally which we are using for our whitewashing. Here this is the X which is used for the whitewashing is normally calcium oxide. Okay, calcium oxide, and when you are adding to the water, it is converted into the what are the material which is obtained, product obtained here? It is calcium hydroxide. You can see reactants are 2. Reactants are 2, and you can see on the other side products are 1. Products is 1. So whenever we have the reactants are 2 or more than 1 and product is only 1 is obtained, automatically it comes under the category is called as a combination reaction, we say. So this is the one example you can say. And one more thing, the calcium oxide as well as one of them is called as a slaked lime, other is called as a quicklime. We have that common because it is called as a pet names, we say. One of them which you are having the calcium oxide has a one of pet name as well as this one. One is called as a slaked lime, other is called as a quicklime. So once again we come across these type of reactions with the names in the upcoming topics. So coming to the second the type of reaction. The second type of reaction here is a decomposition reaction. What is called decomposition reaction? Means a reaction in which one reactant, a reaction in which only one reactant undergoes reaction and gives rise to 2 or more products. Okay, we take the reactant should be only 1. Okay, and after undergoing reaction, it should give 2 or more products. If it is giving, such is called as a decomposition reaction. We say this decomposition reaction is exactly opposite to that of the combination reaction. That's why if you say the reactant here is AB is a compound. After participating in the reaction, it converts into A plus B. You can see the reactant. This is called as a reactant, which is on the left hand side reactant. How many reactant is there? 1. After participation reaction, we are getting this the substance which are on the right hand side of the products. How many you are getting here? 2. So according to our definition, if reactant is 1 and after undergoing reaction, if it is giving 2 or more products, it comes under which category called? It is called as decomposition reaction. So repeating the definition once again, students, a reaction in which one reactant participate in reaction and converts into and gives 2 or more products, that is called as a decomposition reaction. This decomposition reaction, this decomposition reaction we see in our surroundings also. Many chemical reactions happens in our surrounding. I'll give the example here. These decomposition reactions takes place in the 3 ways. Decomposition reaction takes place in the 3 ways. The first one is called as normally thermal decomposition. The first type of decomposition is called as a thermal decomposition. Okay. The second type of decomposition is called as a photolytic decomposition. The second type of decomposition is called photolytic decomposition reaction. And the third one is called as normally electrolytic decomposition. The third one is called electrolytic decomposition reaction. All are decomposition only. What makes a difference? How this decomposition is happening. Okay, what conditions are, under which condition this decomposition reaction is happening. Based on this one only, the decomposition reactions are termed as, first one is called thermal decomposition, second one is called photolytic decomposition, third one is called electrolytic decomposition. So let us give each other definition and one example for each of them. The first one is called thermal decomposition. So what is this thermal decomposition? Means the decomposition which is taking place due to action of heat. Which is taking place due to action of heat. Means if you are heating any material, then if a substance is decomposing, then it is called as a thermal decomposition. Okay? If you are taking any material, you start heating that one directly to our flame. Directly to a flame when I am heating, automatically if that substance is decomposing and is giving rise to two or more products, then it comes under thermal decomposition, we say. The best example, I'll give the good example for this one, which is happening in this one. So the best example for thermal decomposition we can take is CaCO3. CaCO3 is nothing but it is called, the name of this one called calcium carbonate. CaCO3, the name of this CaCO3 is called what? Calcium carbonate. Okay, have you listened this calcium carbonate? The calcium carbonate is present in our houses. The calcium carbonate is commonly called as, our marble stone. It is a chemical of our marble stone, or it is also commonly called as a limestone. Marble stone, limestone, etc. So in our houses, our flooring is done maximum of the nowadays. We come across the marble stones we use. So the calcium carbonate, when you take, here calcium carbonate, and when you heat this one, in a furnace, not heating means we don't directly, not on a stove. It requires extreme high temperature. When you heat this one, the calcium carbonate divides to give rise to CaO plus CO2. It gives rise to CaO plus CO2. Okay, one is called as a calcium oxide. This is in the state of solid state. You will get calcium oxide, and another is a gas. You can observe clearly, reactant is 1, products are 2. According to our definition, if reactant is 1, products are 2, it is a decomposition. But this decomposition is taking place under which condition? It is happening due to the action of heat. It is due to the action of the heat. That's why this example is an example under which one? Thermal decomposition reaction. Etc. Next, I can give one more example to you, which we can do in our laboratory. In our laboratory we can do. So once the school is reopened, when we have the laboratory, we can perform this experiment and we can show. One of the best example for second example for this one is the FeOH taken there. The name of this one is called ferric hydroxide. The ferric hydroxide. So children, for the clarity, I am writing once again this one, this side, so that it will be easy for you to note down. So thermal decomposition. The thermal decomposition, as I said, first example already I have given. Okay, this is a calcium carbonate on heating converts into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. What is calcium carbonate? Calcium carbonate is commonly called as limestone. It is also called as marble. Okay, it is also, we have as a marble. When you are heating, it gives rise to. The second example which we can do in our is a FeOH taken twice. The name of this one is called ferric hydroxide. What is the name? It is called ferric hydroxide, we say. So this ferric hydroxide, normally it is we can take a white color substance. The ferric hydroxide is a white color substance, same like our table salt. Okay, ferric hydroxide is same like our table salt, but little bit of softness. Our table salt will be little bit rough, little bit of softness. So what happened? You take this a white powder. It is instead of the white powder we can take. So what happened? You take a little bit of this one in the test tube. I am taking one test tube like this. In this test tube, you take the ferric hydroxide with a spatula. Spatula in the word spoon. Okay, I am placing here the ferric hydroxide in this one, and we have to heat it. So it is a test tube is a glassy apparatus. So when you are heating, it will cause harm to us. That's what happened. You take this one, you keep test tube holder. It's a holder you can keep here. After keeping this one, next you try to take this one and you can keep on a flame. In the laboratory, we try to use a flame. What you can have, we can call Bunsen flame. Nothing but the flame what we are using in our kitchen. Okay, you take this one and expose it to the flame. Let's have if the flame you are getting like this. So okay, this is a flame which is called as normally flame which is you are using, and this is what we can have. It is a ferric hydroxide. It is a ferric hydroxide. Remember, the color of ferric hydroxide is white color, you can say. And you start heating. You will start heating on the flame. When you start heating, within a minute or 2 minutes, within a minute or two, just note down, observe anything is any changes are occurring in this test tube. So when you start heating for a minute or two, automatically after some time we observe there is a change in color of this compound. Okay, there is change. What is the color of ferric hydroxide? White. Okay, then automatic. We don't know what products we'll get, but we can observe changes based on any changes happening means reaction is happening. So here what happens is when ferric hydroxide is heated directly, it will convert into the normally ferric oxide. The ferric hydroxide on heating it will convert into the ferric oxide Fe2O3 with the loss of water. Ferric oxide. Okay, Fe2O3 normally it is ferric oxide. So how do you know it is ferric oxide means? First the color of this one is white color. Whenever you start heating, the white color will turn into normally first it was initially white color. After heating for some time, the white will turn into the reddish brown. It turns into the reddish brown. So whenever the color is changed from the white to reddish brown, automatically indicates the compound has been changed. The compound has been changed, and this water automatically due to the action of heat, the water evaporates. The water can be gone away. Or you can see some droplets of water at the side of this test tube also you can see if it is being gently heated. So whenever the compound is being color of the compound is changed, we can say that the compound formula ferric hydroxide is converted into ferric oxide. So this is a good example which is being we observe in our laboratory. And the third example, and a very good important example which was asked in our CBSE question. So we take the third example is the PbNO3. PbNO3, it is called as lead nitrate. It is called as lead nitrate. PbNO3 taken twice, it is called as lead nitrate. So what happens is normally the lead nitrate, it's same procedure you try to take. Okay, take a first empty test tube. You try to take first empty test tube. In that empty test tube, you take lead nitrate. Lead nitrate, when you see in the laboratory, it will also be same like white powder. Okay. Now, how much of softness it will means? How we have our face powder will be softness now. That we call as amorphous. We can say. So that type of white color, it is a white amorphous powder, white powder we say. So first of all you take this test tube. Test tube should be dry and it should be clean. So in that one you take this white powder. First you take the 1 spoon of white powder you keep in the test tube. After keeping the white powder in the case, then you keep the folder because we want to heat it. So we don't want to have an injury. Keep the folder. What is this one? It is a folder, test tube folder we say. Then automatically this is a white powder which is nothing but our lead nitrate. Then you start heating. Remember this test tube is dry and you don't have any other chemical other than the lead nitrate. Then you start heating for a while on a directly on a flame, same thing. When you heat it for a minute or two, 1 minute or 2 minutes, we notice some vapors coming out. We notice some vapors coming out, like this vapors coming out from the test tube. Okay. So what is this vapor? And that too, the vapors here are having some color. The color of this one vapors is a reddish brown color. Okay, it is having, or we can say brown vapors. Simply we can say brown vapors coming. Simply vapors nothing but gas. A gas which is having, in the case of the brown color, is coming out. So when you observe what is this means, any changes of this one is lead nitrate. When you are heating, it decomposes to give rise to, I am writing little bit down, lead nitrate on heating gives rise to PbO plus NO2 plus O2. You can have the lead nitrate on heating converts into PbO, NO2, O2. The students, you are in the initial level of learning. Sir, how do we know it will decompose into two other means? When you do it practically in our laboratory, we notice changes. Clearly 2 or 3 changes observe this one. The first initially the compound was the case of the white color. Okay. The white color, the compound, the white color will slowly changes. Normally the lead oxide was having white color. The color of the white color will change. So whenever the color of white color is changed, it is due to the formation of one compound is lead oxide, PbO. What is the name it is called? Lead oxide. It is a solid and the color it will be having the little bit, not the white color, it will be having the little bit of the grayish or etc. Second one, we observe brown vapors coming out. What is this brown vapors? The brown vapors is due to the NO2 gas. Okay, nitrogen dioxide gas, which is a nitrogen dioxide gas, which is a brown gas. The brown gas, etc. And oxygen is also gas, which is oxygen. Everyone knows it is a colorless gas. We can't see with our eye. So orally, when you go for this one, and every time you see, when you are writing a reaction should always be balanced. That's why whenever you are writing, in the last session we said, okay, always a chemical reaction should be balanced, and we use a method called as a heat and trial method. Okay, so we can have is the 2 PbO and etc. We have is 4 NO2. Okay, 6 2. Okay, like this we have. So these are the two gases, one solid. So based on this is the laboratory experiments. Laboratory we observe the changes. Above one ferric hydroxide also we observe the changes, and now also this one is also we observe. So once in the laboratory, this is including our practical, we can observe. So in our syllabus CBSE, how the question this lead nitrate is asked is a white color powder on strongly heating evolves a brown color gas. A brown color gas is evolving along with the formation of a solid at the bottom of the test tube. So what is this brown color gas? And write the complete balance reaction. Okay. So once again repeating, a white color powder on strong heating evolves a brown color gas along with a solid at the bottom of the test tube. So what is that compound X, and write the complete balance reaction for this one. Means the compound is lead nitrate, and here on heating it converts into the brown gas is nitrogen dioxide as gas, etc. So this is regarding the first one, thermal. So in this case, these three are the what we can have is our examination point of view question, and activities. These are included in our activities also. So this is the first type of decomposition, what we call as a thermal decomposition reaction. So let me go for another second type of decomposition reaction. Second type of decomposition reaction, that is a photolytic decomposition reaction. Photolytic decomposition, and some of the books is also called as photochemical decomposition. So remember the decomposition reactions are of three types we say. One is called as the thermal decomposition. The first one is called thermal decomposition, which is already we discussed right now, means the decomposition due to the heating. Second one is called photolytic decomposition. The photolytic decomposition means the decomposition carried out due to the presence of sunlight. The photolytic decomposition taking place due to the presence of sunlight. The third one is the electrolytic decomposition, means the decomposition taking place due to the presence of electric field, by using electricity, due to the presence of electricity. So now let's discuss this one, second one, photolytic decomposition. What is this photolytic decomposition? Okay, as a definition, if a decomposition reaction is carried out due to the help of the sunlight. Sunlight gives us energy, okay, or nothing but heat it is giving. So if the heat given by sunlight helps in the decomposition of a one compound and converts into two or more products, then it comes under photolytic decomposition or some kind of photochemical decomposition also we can say. So I will give you the good example, very good example which we can also do in our laboratories. The best example here we can take is the AgBr. The AgBr name is called silver bromide. AgBr is a silver bromide. It is a light yellow color powder. Same like our face powder. That we call as amorphous powder. Okay, so a light yellow color powder. A light yellow powder. So what you do is this silver bromide. You can take one watch glass which is available to us. You take some of this light yellow powder in that watch glass. So I'm drawing here. Okay, like let's imagine this is a watch glass. In this one I'm taking the powder. in this one. So this watch glass should be dry. First it should be dry and it should not contain any material in it. So what happened after keeping the light yellow powder is, take this watch glass and keep wherever you are having the sunlight. Direct sunlight you should keep. Going exposed to the sunlight. Whenever we are keeping sunlight and leave it for 10 minutes. Okay. Now in the case of the summer season, 5 minutes is more than enough because it is extremely hot. But normally, you can take the 10 minutes if you keep in the sunlight. So keep in the sunlight wherever you are getting, and after 10 minutes when you observe, this was actually color is the light yellow. Already first I said it is a light yellow color we said. After some time we expose to sunlight. Okay, when you expose it to sunlight, we observe. Suppose let's assume you keep in the sunlight, you come inside. After 10 minutes when you go and see here, the color of the material present in this watch glass is not light yellow. It turns into grey color. Powder is there, but color of the powder is not in the case of light yellow. Color is being changed. Why the color is changed? Means the silver bromide when exposed to sunlight. Okay, remember it is sunlight, and sunlight we have the symbolic is H nu. Remember, repeating once again, sunlight is symbolically represented as H nu. Wherever you see the symbol H nu means nothing but the reaction is taking place in the presence of sunlight. H nu. This is the one. So when you take place in the presence of the sunlight, once again I am writing here H nu. When it takes place, the sunlight is giving sufficient heat to it, and the silver bromide dissociates to give silver along with the bromine. It will give rise to silver along with the bromine. So this silver automatically is existing in the state of the grey color solid. It is in state of the grey color solid. Now whatever the color we are seeing here, it is due to the formation of silver. And the bromine is a gas. The bromine is gas. The gas automatically escapes out. So whatever we are seeing here, the change is occurring. Okay, a light yellow color substance automatically turns into grey color. It is due to the changing. Before it was silver bromide. After heating, it converts into silver along with the bromine. Two compounds there. Bromine escapes out in the form of the gas, but you can notice here is a grey color compound, that is a silver. This silver bromide we used to use in the photographic plates. Okay, in the olden days, the black and white photographic film. The black and white photographic film, on that one, the chemical we can use is the silver bromide we used to use. Okay, the question which is asked in our CBSE question is a chemical which is used in the black and white photographic plate, the black and white photographic film, when exposed to sunlight, it converts into grey color solid. Okay, what is that compound taken and what is the grey color solid obtained? Means you have to take this one. It is used in which one? It is used in the black and white photography plates or black and white photographic film, you can write. This is used. Similarly, as we said AgBr, we can take one more example also. AgCl also. AgCl, silver chloride. Silver chloride is it. This silver chloride is a white color powder. It's a white color powder. So what you have to do is that the AgCl, when you expose it to the same thing, in the same form, you take one watch glass, new watch glass, it should be dry completely. In that one, now you take this silver chloride powder and here, this is a white powder. And same procedure, you go and keep in the sunlight. Just wherever the sunlight is there, take that watch glass and keep in the sunlight. And come inside, you notice that changes after 10 minutes. When you notice after 10 minutes, automatically, due to be of the same thing, the white color powder in this one automatically turns into grey color. Same changes, color will be changing. Why it is changing means the color here is a silver chloride. Due to the presence of the sunlight, undergo decomposition and gives Ag and releases Cl2. Okay, this Ag, what is silver, is the obtained. Here it is a grey color. It's a grey color powder. What we can able to see. And chlorine is a gas. The chlorine gas escapes out. It will goes away. What we see in our what we can say here in the watch glass is the